Hi, my name is Kerline Guillaume, and this is my story. So I am a second-year intern at Mainstream Orlando. I'm an intern for the extreme high schoolers. I graduate in May, and right now I'm living in Kissimmee, Florida. So growing up, I lived with my mom in Little Haiti, Florida. That's in Miami, Florida. Well, my brothers and my sister, they lived in Haiti during the time, and I was the only one that was born in Miami. So it was just me and my mom that while I was growing up, and then they all came from Haiti. It was my three brothers and my one sister, and my dad stayed back in Haiti. Well, who I thought was my dad. But then as I grew up, my dad came from Haiti. But as I was getting older, I'm going through high school, there was a family friend that would always be there for me when I was younger, and I never questioned it at all. He would always pick me up from school, take me out to eat. Our favorite spot was Burger King. We would love to go, the chicken sandwich from Burger King, that was our favorite sandwich. We would go there all the time. He would take me with him to work. We would go to church all the time. I would just look to that family friend as my father, but I never really thought that was my father because he was just around. My mom never really told me who he was. As around 16, 17 years old, he got sick. He was diagnosed with cancer. And I was a teenager, so I never really I never really thought about cancer and how it's huge. I know you could die from it, but it never clicked in my mind about how deadly it was. Cause the night before he did pass away, my mom was like, let's go see him. He's really sick. Let's go see him. Let's go visit him. And as a teenager, I was just I don't really want to. I just want to hang out with my friends. But he was in and out of the hospital, and there was one time where, it was 2011, it was one weekend where my mom was saying how we should go visit him, and at that time I was 16, 17. Yeah, I was 16, 17, and we went to go see him that night, and I walked in and he was there on the bed, and he looked super sick. He lost a lot of weight, and we went to go see him, and that night he was in his bed, and I was like, are you gonna come to my graduation? Are you gonna walk me down the aisle? I don't know why I was asking him those questions. I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna come see you. I'm gonna be there, of course. I'm gonna walk you down the aisle. And then the next morning my mom called me into her room, and she was like, his name was Blanc. I don't know how to say that in English, but we called him Blanc. Yeah, Blanc passed away last night, and it was super hard because that was my dad. So it was extremely hard for me, especially just finding out that he was my real dad. It was really hard. But till this day, my mom still hasn't told me that he was my biological dad. One day when I was with my brother in his room and we were watching a show or something, and he mistakenly said, yeah, so that he is your father. Mom never told you because she wanted to protect you, but that is your father. So he passed away, and I never really had a chance to be we had the relationship, but I never had the chance to really look up to him, really look to him as my father. So I was so confused. I was upset at my mom. I was upset at my sister because they never told me the truth. They never told me that was my biological father. And so years go by. I never talked to my mom about it. I never talked to my sister. And my brother that even told me about it, I never talked to him about it. I just kept it in. I kept it bottled up. And I ended up, when I was 17, 18, I ended up moving to Orlando to live with my big sister and her family. And then my stepdad, he stayed back in Miami with my mom and my brothers. He was in and out of the hospital because he had high blood pressure. So he was in and out of the hospital. He was barely working. There was that one summer where he got super sick, and so he was in and out of the hospital, and the doctors told him he had to have surgery for the high blood pressure. He ended up having the surgery, and as soon as he had the surgery, he didn't wake up the next morning from the surgery. He didn't wake up. And the doctors came in and told us that the surgery didn't go as planned. It didn't work out as planned. And so if he did wake up from the surgery, he wouldn't be normal. He wouldn't talk. He wouldn't walk. My mom would basically have to take care of him. And so they gave her a choice. They said either if he wakes up, he can do that, or we can take him off of life support. So my mom made the decision to take him off of life support. So he ended up passing away. And during this whole time, I was saved. I had a relationship with God. So during that whole time of losing both my dads, I was just so super confused. I was like, why did you take them from me? Why? I didn't hate God, but like I was just super upset. Like that would happen. I would be praying in my room at night and I was just like, why me? Like, why did this have to happen to me? It was just a lot. So I kept praying and praying. And just one time he just told me, like, everything's under control. I lost my biological dad in 2011, and I lost my stepdad in 2014. And so when all these things, when both my dads passing, having God in my life throughout that season, I can't imagine like what would I have done, like where I would be right now if I didn't have God in my life. Like he like legit walked me through like those storms. He legit was there with me the whole entire time. God gave me the call to be an evangelist, and he just gave me like a vision. When he gave me that call, I had like a vision of me just like talking to a crowd of high schoolers. One quick piece of advice that I would have for someone who's going through this or has went through it, I would say love God. Like, look up to him, because without him, you don't know what you will be able to do. Like, without him, you won't be able to get through it. So love God with all of your heart, even though it may be tough. Trust me, it's tough, but God will take you through it. He'll walk you through it. He'll be by your side throughout all of it. To me, being frank means loving on someone. Being frank means just being honest and just loving on whoever you come in contact with. I'm Kerline Guillaume, and I am frank.